York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from Knick Of Time Show. Here, give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And you've seen it today. The Knicks just beat these Portland Trailblazers 98-128. And we have our guy, RJ Barrett, who once again scores over 30 points for the 9th time this season. So shout out to RJ Barrett and the gunshots from him. He gives you 31 points, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 4 rebounds. Julius Randle had a shaky game when it comes to shooting, but he gives you 20 points, 7 assists, 9 rebounds. Fournier is finding his stride, gives you 14 points, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 rebounds. Quickley damn near had a perfect game on the night with 18 points and 6 assists. McBride kicks in with 7. Toppin pops out with 13 points and 2 steals. Mitch gives you 5 blocks. The Knicks give you 31 assists on the night. Gunshots for the Knicks because Sharon is indeed caring, and the Knicks get the Portland Trail Blazers back and defeat them by 30 points. And I am here to talk about it all with the KOT family. So gunshots in the air for the Knicks win. Shout out to picks for Timmy. Shout out to Chris Alessandro. Shout out to Gerald McGyver. Everybody else is rocking with the KOT show, man. Also, as you know, man, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, because we're here after every game talking Knicks basketball, and today we finally get to talk about a Knicks win. And you know what? You already know the deal is, man. After the All-Star break, when you have a season like this, you already know what are we looking for. We're looking for the kids. And today we saw a little bit of the kids, and who was the leader of all the kids? The 21-year-old RJ Barrett, aka Broadway Barrett, Bodmon Barrett, whatever you want to call him. RJ Barrett had himself a number 30-point game tonight, and it seemed like he got it going early. He started off a little bit shaky, missing a few open 3-point shots, but then he got it going. He started hitting shots. He started going to the lane, and he seems like, once again, he's figured it out. RJ Barrett gave you 31 points, 50% on the field, 45% for 3, 5 assists, and 2 steals. And you're looking at these free throws. You're looking at these free throws right here, 6 of 7 from the free throw line. Last month, he was horrid from the free throw line, but this month he's shooting over 80% from the free throw line, and it's resulting in the higher field goal percentage so far this month. He's averaging around 24 points a game this month, and it looks like RJ Barrett has finally figured it out on the night. But and here's the thing: this is what you're looking for. This is what you're looking for, RJ. This is what you're looking for, Star J. This is what you're looking for, these Knicks, because it's nice. It's nice to see, you know, a Knicks win. It's nice to see us win in general because it helps you feel good, unless you're part of Team Tank, right? But the Knicks fans really want to see is they want to see RJ Barrett. They want to see Jericho Sims. They want to see McBride. They want to see Emmanuel Quickley. They want to see the young guns fly. That's what they want to see. And we got to see a little bit of that today. And I'm going to touch on those guys today. But first, before I even touch on those guys, I'm going to just give RJ Barrett his flowers because he put a nice game on today. Had like 20 points in the first half, and it just seems like this is like another day in the office for RJ. And I kind of feel like now that he's back home and we're away from that West Coast trip, I feel like, you know, when the team is home, there's more time to practice. There's more time to get in the gym. The sleep patterns are back to normal. And I feel like we're going to start to see even better offensive games from this team. And I think we're going to close out this season pretty strong in general. And not only that, I feel like there will be a late push where we string together a lot more wins than we usually have for the entire season. I do expect to see that. But I'm not sure. Making the play-in to me is still a long shot, though, because the other teams still have to lose. But I do feel like, you know, we playing the Hawks a few times, playing the Charlotte the Charlotte Hornets a few times, and we've been playing better for the better part of a couple of months. And this team is looking more and more like the old last year Tom Thibodeau team because of the emergence of Emmanuel Quickley, who seems to find another rhythm, and he's changed his play style a little bit more. R.J. Barrett has changed a little bit more. Mitchell Robinson is healthy. Sims is contributing more. It seems like the team is finding a little bit of synergy, but the timing is a little bit wrong. So I do feel like we're gonna start to string together a lot more wins, but it might be a little too late. And I kind of feel like this might contribute to some of the news that's been coming out, because if you haven't heard, the Bleacher Report has reported that Tom Thibodeau will be returning next season as a New York Knickerbocker head coach. And if you follow this channel, everybody was saying, oh, he's going to be fired. I was kind of saying, I don't see him being fired, because Tom Thibodeau and Leon Rose are boys. They were interviewing coaches as formalities for like a week. But it was one of those things where it's like, oh, yeah, we're going to interview you just for the sake of it. But we already knew Tom Thibodeau was the man from the rip. And you're just not gonna fire your boy just like that. You're gonna give him every chance to win. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that Tom Thibodeau thing a little bit later after I talk about the game. So I will circle back to Tom Thibodeau. And his head coaching duties with the Knicks. But I will say this: the way Tom Thibodeau has this team playing right now, as much as we criticize him, and I criticize him still to this day, even today during this win, I will criticize him. The fact that the team is still playing for him with this losing record and hasn't quit is a sign that the team isn't completely lost, and I'm pretty sure the front office is thinking that. But we're gonna move Tom Thibodeau and Leon Rose and
shout out the Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
Worldwide West and this mess out here. We're gonna move all of that to the side for now, and we're gonna bring that back later, and we're gonna talk about the game we had today. And so R.J. Barrett, another great 31-point game. Shot is there and everything else. But I want to move on to something else that I'm starting to notice, and it's a trend, right? I want to talk about Sims. Sims comes in once again, 23 minutes and 54 seconds. 23 minutes and 54 seconds. Why is this important? We see what's happening with Mitch. And if you've been keeping up with the videos that I've been talking about, you know that when the Mitch news broke, right? The Mitch news broke that the front office and Mitch have been in talks about an extension for almost the entire season. And this franchise and the Knicks have not offered him a significant amount of money. The max he can get is for 4 years, $48 million. That is the max he can get, right? The report is he has not come close to that. Now, that news came out at the same time that Sims started playing. So what is that telling me? That's telling me the front office is in the background pulling the strings, because we already know Leon Rose and these guys, they run a tight ship. They don't like news leaking out. Everything is always in-house. It's always in-house. So the fact that Mitchell Robinson news leaked at the same time Sims magically starts playing over Taj Gibson, to me, is no accident. They're really, they trying to put the news, they're trying to leak out the news ahead of time, just in case Mitch leaves, and they want to see what Sims has. And so bare minimum, Sims is getting 5 minutes a game, even though he should have been getting more. And ever since he started to get consistent minutes, you're starting to see that Sims is starting to assert himself. Now today, I'm going to bring it back to my earlier point. Sims played 23 minutes today. 23 minutes, 54 seconds. Mitchell Robinson played 24 minutes. Damn near split the minutes in half. Mitch was playing 30 minutes before. 30 minutes, 31 minutes, 32 minutes. Sims' minutes is starting to creep up. Which means the trust factor has now is kicked in for Randall now that he's splitting minutes in half with Mitchell Robinson. Something that he should have been doing way more earlier. But shout out to Sims. He saw his stuff in the Brooklyn game. Before the Brooklyn game, he was only getting 5 minutes a game, which is preposterous, bruh. For Tom Thibodeau. But this game, plus 21 on the night, gives you 5 points, 1 block, 7 rebounds, 4 defensive rebounds, and 3 offensive. Overall, great showing for Sims. Some people are saying he's Mitch's replacement. He can't replace him. I still feel like we should re-sign Mitch because Mitch is still a monster player. And I already know I call Sims Nerlens Noel 2.0. Why do I call him Nerlens Noel 2.0? Because he is as agile as Nerlens Noel is. He can give you multiple efforts by running up to the three-point line and getting back to his man with ease. Something that Mitch has problems doing because he just doesn't have the agility to do that. Plus, he can actually catch the ball and finish dunks when he catches lobs. So he is, to me, Nerlens Noel 2.0. Makes Nerlens Noel absolutely expendable, for sure. And if we lose Mitch, he should be able to be a stopgap at the bare least, And I like that he's getting minutes right now. It's about time. Thibodeau, he's been a little bit stubborn on the Sims minutes. And you heard me complain about when we played Taj against these big burly 7-foot centers, how it's just physically it's just impossible for Taj to match with him, and it was a dumb decision. And speaking of that dumb decision, that's why we lost earlier game. Was it against Portland? It was because of that dumb decision. So shout out to the Agile Gazelle, the death of Nerlens Noel in Sims, who did a great job today. And now I'm going to talk about Mitchell Robinson and why Mitchell Robinson is no slouch. Because Mitchell Robinson, once again, plus 9 on the night, gives you 5 blocks tonight and 6 rebounds. 5 blocks on the night and 6 rebounds. Now, today, I do feel like we saw some defensive mistakes. It's crazy because in the beginning, the first 2 quarters, even though we had 5 turnovers, I do feel like this is a young team. And this young team took advantage. They like to push the ball. And even on made baskets, they pushed the ball and kind of got us cross-matched up and was able to take advantage of us that way on the offensive end. But the Knicks was able to clean that up. But that's neither here or there. They cleaned it up a little bit later. But I feel like Sims was able to kind of match that playing style more than Mitch was. But I digress. Mitch still was pretty good on the night with 5 blocks. He made a couple of mistakes by falling for some head fakes. But all in all, there's nobody like Mitch who can guards on the perimeter and block shots like he does. And that's why you have to hold on to Mitch. And that's why he's worth 4 years, $48 million. And we already know this free agency, we're going to have a lot of competition for Mitch. You know what I mean? Probably Dallas. We already heard of Detroit. But I'm hoping that we do our due diligence. I'm hoping that we actually get to keep him in house and for a reasonable price, but a lot more than what we've been rumored to offer him, because I do feel like he is worth that much in my opinion. Now on to the youth. I'm gonna talk about some other youth because Evan Fournier had his moments, but I'm gonna talk about him later. Randall had a great game. I'm gonna talk about him later. Miles McBride. There's been a lot of chatter about how Miles McBride isn't that good, and he's overrated and da-da-da-da-da. Here's the thing about Miles McBride. Miles McBride has a full leash in the G League. He's like the number one option in the G League. And it seems like from what I've seen, he's a lot more comfortable taking risk. Because he's not going to get pulled. And when he's up here with the Knicks, he seems like he's not trying his dribble moves as much. He seems like he's deferring to me, is what I'm saying. He looks like he's deferring to me. Now, the first time McBride scored 19 points against Houston, there seems like there was a hunger there, and he had something to prove. It seemed that at that time, he was like, this is my team, and y'all guys are playing with me. And that's why he was able to score the 19 points that game and had the game he did. There was no fear. There was no fear. It was kind of like, I felt like he was playing Eminem in his AirPods while he was playing the game. Like, this is my last shot to make it. I'm going to do what I got to do. And right now, he's deferring. Like, I seen a couple of times today even. He had a couple of pick and roll opportunities where I felt like, especially in the fourth quarter, he started to kind of blow by his man, and he got in between the gaps. He started to split the defense, but as he was beating them, he turns around and passes the ball to Quickley. You know what I mean? He turns around and passes the ball to Quickley. After it seemed like he kind of had his man beat, and that's the thing that he has to change. And I don't know what happened there. I don't know if the benching took away a lot of his confidence or in his aggressiveness. But I want to see him kind of play a little bit more free. Which is why I want to see kids play the kids a little bit more, because I want to see how he reacts against NBA competition with more freedom. Now, a part of this too is mentality. You know what I mean? Like, I still feel like McBride has some things to prove. I still feel like he has problems creating separation to get his jumper up and creating separation when he has to blow by people. But you don't have to be the fastest person to blow by people. You can use hezzies and in and outs and things to get by people. We're seeing RJ start to do it right now, where RJ doesn't have the biggest blow by speed, but he's getting by people. Luka kind of does the same thing, where he uses angles and things to blow by people. McBride kind of feels like he does a lot more of that in the G League. He's too timid to do that right now with the Knicks. But for him to get the respect and for him to get playing time, especially because Grimes is around the corner, and once Grimes comes back, his time will be cut. Grimes will be paired with Quickley. Because it's not like McBride is playing, point minutes. He's not playing second ball handler, really. He really hasn't, really. And so he has to be more aggressive and force the issue at some point. Otherwise, his playing time is cut. Or the only other time he's going to get minutes is if we're mathematically outside of the play-in. So, McBride, you need to step it up. There's something there. You can't be as timid. And I understand that, you might have lost a little bit of confidence because Tibbs, Tibbs is playing with your playing time, but McBride, you have to step it up. And that's why I'm noticing, like, you saw what happened, right? You saw what happened in the later part of the game when there was no pressure. Everybody was running. McBride shoots a three with a defender kind of over him. The rest of the game, he probably would have swung the ball to somebody else and passed it quickly. He shot a three. He shot a three where he wasn't completely open, but was open enough. He needs to do more stuff like that, is what I'm saying. Also, shout out to Quickley. Shout out to Quickley, who was also having a good game. Only missed one shot of the game. It seems like his play style is coming along. It seems like he's found a better balance of shooting threes and going all the way to the rim. And this season, I feel like at least the last 2 weeks, I've seen Quickley mix up the floater game with actually drawing contact and initiating contact on a drive, which is something I haven't seen from Quickley for half a season until the last couple of weeks. And I feel like that aggressiveness, plus him having the ability to get all the way to the rim, is kind of opening up his game a little bit more. So even when he's having bad shooting nights to me over the last few games, it seems like to me he's having a more of an impact on the game in general. So shout out to Emmanuel Quickley. And I'm gonna go to the callers after this. Obi Toppin. He's back, and I feel like, I've seen people complaining about Obi Toppin too. And that's because, and I said this last show, we've been using Obi Toppin completely wrong. He's been relegated just being a corner 3 shooter once again. But I feel like we're starting to forget all the things that Obi Toppin does well. Like, coming into the season, his ball handling has gotten a lot better. When we drafted Obi Toppin, he was known as a guy who can kind of post a little bit, but was also a really good instinctive passer. What do we see from Obi Toppin today? We saw Obi Toppin throw an alley-oop to Jericho Sims. Oh! So Obi Toppin still has some game. Obi Toppin needs some run too. And hopefully we actually get to see Obi Toppin a little bit more as we come to the end of the season. I know some guys are kind of down on Obi Toppin. He's kind of forgotten man right now in Knicks land. He's still not playing that many minutes. And he played 14 minutes a day. And I was kind of tight at Tom because with 5 minutes left, he brought Randall back in as the kids was cooking. As there was no lead, the lead was not in danger of being lost. He takes out Obi Toppin. He starts to bring back Randall in. And I'm sitting here like, bruh. Same old Tom Thibodeau who pisses me off with these dumb rotations. Let the second unit run. When the guys have it going and there's no danger, let the second unit run. We were up 20-plus points. Like, I don't get the kid, yo. I don't get Tom Thibodeau at all. But Obi Toppin is still a good, decent NBA player with potential. So is McBride. So is IQ, even though he freezes people out sometimes. We have a good young core here. We have something here to work with, despite this season kind of being gone away. But I just want to I just need you guys to forgive. Even though we have a bad season, even though we're not all the way we want to be, RJ Barrett's still good. Mitchell Robinson has developed, and we have talent on this team. And that's all I have to say about that. And you know what? I'm going to bring these callers in once again. So shout out to Picks for Timmy. Shout out to the Nick Gas Oracle. Shout out to Sangfroid 929. Shout out to Tell him Alejandro. Shout out to Ricky Beavers and everybody else who's rocking with the KOT show. If you like the show so far, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. We're going to be here all 82 after every game, win, lose, or draw. And shout out to everybody who was rocking with me when we was having computer problems, all that stuff. Y'all really rock with me because I came over here on an off night and talked Nets basketball. So shout out to the chat. Shout out to the KOT family who's always supporting, all right? All right. First caller up. We got my man Ken, the editor-in-chief of the KOT show. What's going on, Ken?
Jay Ellis, the man. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. We gotta win. So
you're holding it down for us, man, in Nickland, man. You're the guy everybody's got to come to, man, to know what's going on with the Knicks.
Absolutely.
So, hey, I just want to plug really quick the article that we published today. So pretty much the name of the article is New York Knicks, fans need to trust the process. So, like, you made all the great points about the game and how the team's doing. Mm-hmm. And I think just to add on a little to what you said, because you're on point on everything, was what I noticed was they were playing with a little more confidence, like they were more decisive, they were playing quicker.
Right.
And I think that's the only way, like you said, this team, there isn't a superstar team, so you can't be doing this slow down iso ball. You got to play quicker, you got to play smarter, you got to play with better chemistry. Absolutely. To overcome that. And I think we saw that today, and I don't know if it was just maybe the opponent or it's just, we already played 60 something games into the season, so it's just organically happening. But yeah, like I said, you mentioned a lot of great things, and I think what people just need to keep focused on is this season. The Knicks weren't supposed to be that good. All the experts had them winning about 41, most 43 games.
Right.
And that's really based on like last year was a bit of an aberration because of COVID and the condensed schedule and all that stuff. But I think, one thing I just want to mention regarding Tibbs is I agree with the rotations and all the stuff, but a lot of this, like you talked about, is on the front office.
Yep.
Like you give a coach players, he's going to play those players. He's playing for his job. He's coaching for his job. And like someone mentioned once about online, they were talking about Memphis. They drafted John Morant. What's the first thing they did? They traded Conley. They didn't leave Conley on the roster to give the coach the option to play Conley, who's a veteran. No. He says you're playing the rookie. That's the new franchise player.
You lead it right into my point for my coach talk, Ken. You segue in perfectly, but keep going.
Right, and then the thing, like you were talking about Mitch, like you made this great point. It ain't no coincidence that Sims is playing because that Tibbs doesn't want to play Sims. He'd rather play Gibson, but he's playing him because they got to see what they have because there's a good chance Mitch is going to be gone. And if we know anything about Mitch, his situation is messed up. He's got some bad people who are managing him, and that guy, he's underpaid. He's never made more than $1.8 million since he's been with the Knicks.
Right.
So he's going to try to get paid this summer. And like you talked about, you got teams that are desperate. Like you said, I think he's worth he's definitely worth 4 years, 48, 12 a year. But you're going to have someone who's going to overpay because there's always a team that overpays. And especially I'm worried about OKC. OKC's got to do something. They got a ton of cap room.
Yeah.
And like you saw, Jared Allen, who's very similar, right? He got, 5 years, $100 million, $20 million a year from Cleveland. And, so you can see someone, going over $15 million a year for Mitch. So I'm worried we're going to lose him. So I think it's no coincidence that they're playing Sims, and I think that's coming down from above, like you said.
Absolutely.
So like I said, so a lot of the Tibbs stuff I put on the front office because you know what? If the team sucks, like I said, everyone's already calling for Tibbs' job. The guy was coach of the year last year.
Thanks.
Also this year, we run into some obstacles, and so of course the guy's gonna play the guys he trusts. So it's on the front office as well as Tibbs. Don't get me wrong. But the other thing I just wanted to mention, like I talked about in the article, is we all got to relax. Like you don't build these championship teams overnight. Like there's no microwave dynasties. Like we talked, you see Brooklyn, we're all frustrated how good they are. But that took, that process started in 2016. That was like 3 or 4 years. And they got lucky because they were forced to rebuild slow. But the point is they had to make a lot of good decisions. They had to get Jared Allen, draft what's this kid, Levert. They discovered Dinwiddie.
Mm-hmm. I drafted similar to what we're doing.
Right. So that's exactly leading into my point. Is that's what we're doing. We're having all these little successes. Like you got to stack up all these little successes. And like you talked about, we've hit in the last 3 drafts. We've hit on all 4 number 1 picks. Now, just to use a baseball analogy, we haven't hit a home run, right?
Right.
But we've hit. We haven't missed. RJ is he's a centerpiece. He's a franchise player. We did well there. And like you said, Obi, you talked about it. He can play. It's just because of Randall, he's not getting the run.
Right.
But you talked about he can play. If you put him in every day to play, he's going to put up 15 points a game easily. And like you talked about Quickley, he's a rotation player. He's if he was on a team like Brooklyn or he played with a better super to get more wide open shots like his Kentucky teammate down in Philly, Maxey, he will be putting up better numbers too. And like you talked about, he's gotten better. He struggled a little, but part of that I blame on Randall. But now, like you talked about, he's getting better closer to the rim, playing contact. So So he's a player. Like he's a player. And you got Grimes. I mean, Grimes came in and he got minutes on the Tibbs. Like that kid is a solid 3-and-D. Not comparing him to Klay Thompson, but I'm saying like he's a guy who's like a really good 3-and-D player.
Yeah.
Who could give you a little something more than just spot up shooting. But I mean the kid came in and he's really playing world-class defense. You got those guys. Then you talked about McBride. Listen, I'm not worried about McBride. Tibbs is crazy. Like you heard Derrick Rose say, like for a rookie, Tibbs is really intense. That's why it's good to have a guy like Rose on the team, a veteran, to be a buffer. But you talked about the G League, the guy's putting up numbers. And the other thing about McBride that people don't realize is he was a two-star player in high school, two-sport. He played football and basketball. He gave up football his senior year to focus on basketball. So, he ended up extra year. He wasn't one and done. He played 2 years in college.
Right.
So, he's a little raw versus the average NBA player. And you see that kid, he's a player. He's going to play. He's going to, like you said, he's got stuff to work on, but man, he's a second-round draft pick. But he's going to be a player. And he talked about Jericho Sims. Like, kid was drafted 58th. This kid can just, he's just making the roster is an accomplishment. And
crazy.
Like I said, he's no Mitch, but he's a kid who you just saw he can come in and give you, and he's a vertical threat on offense, right? Because that kid can tap anything you throw up there. So the point is, the fans got to chill. All the mistakes they've made, right? Like I remember we argued about it last year. You got on my case about Randall, which I don't think was necessarily a horrible mistake. But it wasn't a bad decision, and we can still flip Randall.
You can still flip Randall,
right?
Sure.
He's got value, and he's not, like I said, he's not a Murray Stoudemire or Joakim Noah contract. Fournier, like I said, his contract's not bad, and the salary cap's going up next year, so it's going to look even more reasonable. And like I said, everyone focuses on all the moves we didn't make, like we missed on Tyrese Halliburton. But like I said, but we still, we didn't hit a home run, but we connected on players, and now we got cap flexibility, and we're building something. And let me tell you, all these kids they've brought in are all good kids. These are guys other players want to play with. People want to play with R.J. Barrett, with Quickley, because these are good guys.
Absolutely.
Who play team basketball. These are these ISO kids. And the last thing I want to say, sorry, I always go longer than I plan to. I apologize ahead of time. But like in the article, we also mentioned really quick about Reddish. Like, listen, like we gave up nothing for Reddish. Knox, as much as we love Knox, it wasn't going to work out here. And if you notice, he hasn't done anything in Atlanta. I still have hopes that he'll land somewhere else next year. But here he was a bust. And you gave him up, and then what? A late first protect first that we didn't even want to use. We don't got room for a late first on this roster. And you got this kid who's the perfect fit. And listen, I don't know about you, Jay. Tell me what you think. But when I see that kid on the court, he looks like the prototypical small forward. The kid pops off the screen.
Yeah.
To me, when I see him, I see that talent, right? It's not just me.
No, it's definitely there. Like the
and
short stint he's been here.
Before he got hurt.
Yeah, he's definitely and
you saw he was hitting Jays. He can shoot 90% from the free throw line. He's a 40% shooter from three. Like, you can see he's going to be a 43% shooter. He's creative at the rim, athletic as hell. And like you said, he's figuring out that he's got to play defense and he's got to be more focused. And you saw he was doing that before he got hurt. So, like I said, you get on that kid, you're going to have him and RJ. That's scary. And like we talked about, you already got from that 2018 high school class, you got four guys who are like top players, right? Quickley, Reddish, Barrett, and Grimes.
Right, because Quickley was he was like player of the year for SEC, I think, or something like that, if I remember correctly.
Well, Quickley, but I'm saying, but in high school when they all came out, they were all like kids. They were coming out, and Quickley was the one who was rated the lowest. He was like in the 20s, but a lot of people had Grimes in the top 10. They thought he was going to be a one and done. So anyway, the point is that we got the talent, we haven't done any of the dumb moves we've done in the past that ruin our cap for 3 or 4 years. We're in a good place. Like I said, this year, it would have been nice if we would have won more games, right? But
yeah. No, I agree with you for the most part. I'm gonna throw some counterparts in there, But thank you for calling
Please.
in. Thank you for calling in. But
Thanks, man.
I'm gonna
All right.
round out. I'm gonna round out everything you just said. But shout out to you.
Thank you, Jay.
All right. Shout out to my guy Ken, editor for the KOT show. All right. So he talked about a lot of good things, right? But and we do have a lot of good things, right? Here are the good. So let's talk about this Tom Thibodeau situation, right? Tom Thibodeau is probably our best coach, sadly. And he's our best coach in years. Tom Thibodeau is our best coach in years. And I don't think that's maybe our best coach since Van Gundy. Right? And, you know, I think us overachieving last year kind of solidifies that. Right? If you talk to the players, they'll all tell you that he has you prepared for every game. And he pushes you. And they rave about his work ethic. It's not so like those are the good about Tibbs, right? And if even during his losing streak or the losing stretch, the team hasn't really quit on him. That's the good. Now here's the bad about Tibbs, and here's why it can get a little bit scary now, depending on what happens next. Tibbs, I do feel like Tibbs is a really good teacher because of his attention to detail. But we also seen situations where he puts people in a doghouse for entirely too long, and he doesn't adjust on the fly to certain situation, and he doesn't allow the rookies and sophomores sometimes to kind of spread their wings even when they're having success. And that's the problem with Tibbs in a nutshell. It took the front office to recognize what's happening with Mitch Robinson to get Sims in the game. Sims could have been playing a long time ago, and not to say that Sims was absolutely ready at the beginning of the season, but Sims probably could have been playing a month earlier, if anything, with all the time he was getting in the G League. And Tom Thibodeau refused to do that. Fast forward to the situation with Cam Reddish. We have Cam Reddish on his team who Ken just finished saying that he's looking like he can be a piece. There's a lot of raw potential there. He looks like a natural small forward. He has a jump shot. When he sees his feet is set, he can get to the rim with ease. It just seems like he has to work on his decision making. Under Tibbs, with Alec Burks here, with Evan Fournier here, that might not happen, and that's the scary part. So the news that just came out that said Tom Thibodeau is a lock to come back next season, it gets me worried, and it gets everybody worried. But there is a situation where, you know, the word can disappear. And it's if the front office did with Sims, if they did that again in the offseason, that would be good. And Ken alluded to this earlier. The Memphis Grizzlies cleared a pathway for John Morant to get the minutes that he needed so the coaches wouldn't rely on point guards. And that's the same thing that this front office has to do for us right now. So we can maximize at least some of the good qualities that Tibbs has and keep him from shooting himself in the foot. We already know earlier this season that Alec Burks was on the trading block. And I thought for sure he was going, right? But I guess the Knicks feel like he didn't get the assets that we needed. It should be a lot easier to trade Alec Burks in the offseason because he will be an expiring contract after next season because it's a team option for Alec Burks. So if we plan on keeping Tom Thibodeau, because you already know Tom Thibodeau is Leon Rose's boy and he's going to give him every chance to fail, it can work even with Tibbs' deficiencies if we meaning the front office does what they have to do and get a ring of Alec Burks or maybe Evan Fournier or whatever. But that has to happen for this to work. Otherwise, we can see ourselves being in the same situation next season where after the trade deadline, the front office is going to Tibbs again and going bench Burks because we don't know what's going to happen. We need to see something. We need to see something real quick. Or if we get up to another slow start in the second half of the season, in the first half of the season, I feel like Tom Thibodeau will be fired at that point. All right. 3 callers up right now. So we're going to talk about it. So shout out to everybody in chat. Shout out to Picks for Timmy. Shout out to Fritz Alessindo who's holding it down. Shout out to Jason M. Shout out to the Knicks Gas Oracle. And everybody else is rocking with the KOT show. And shout out to my guy, Starlight Roller, a.k.a. D Nice. All right? Now let's get to these. Let's get to it, man. Let's get to these callers because we got 3 callers in the queue. First caller up, I think we have Jason. Do we have Jason from Lower East Side?
Yeah, this is Jason. I have a question. That last caller was Ken T, right?
Yep, that was Ken.
Is it Ken Thibodeau? Is that like Thibodeau's cousin or something? Get out of here with that. All that. I don't know what team he's watching. He only watches this Knicks team with all that. Oh, they have great young players. Yeah, we all think they have great young players. You know the problem is Tibbs don't think they have great young players.
It's funny because Tibbs really compliments them in public, but then he doesn't back it up and play them on the floor. It's like interesting.
No, he helps them all game, and then the one player who he gives all his support to is Randall. You never see him yell at Randall. You see him yelling at all the other players and benching them, calling timeouts, pulling them. But Randall gets to do whatever he wants. Same thing with Burks. Fournier, he occasionally yells at, but Fournier, he gives them minutes too also. And Todd, all of them, all the vets, they can do whatever they want. Tibbs isn't a tough coach. He's only a tough coach on the young players.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem is the inconsistencies with the young coach versus the veterans, and that has to be nipped in the bud. Like, you know, my job, we have performance reviews. In the performance reviews, they tell you everything you do good and everything you do bad. And, you know, Tom Thibodeau does some things good. As out of timeout plays are bad. He doesn't hold people accountable all the time. And maybe, you know what? Maybe that's because of the Timberwolves thing. Because, you know, he got some heat when he was going that cat. So maybe he's gun shy now. Who knows? But he needs to do that.
What has Thibodeau done good this year? What has Thibodeau done good this year?
What is he gonna do this year? If I don't know what he's done good this year, I'll say this is what I'll say. This is what I'll say. Somehow, with us being 600 games under 500, this team is still playing hard, and I give him credit for that because under when Fizdale was here, the team quit. The team absolutely quit. So I'll give him credit.
Yeah, we're 11 games under 500, just to let you know.
Yeah, so I'll give him credit for that. I'll give him credit for our defense actually cracking the top 10 again after having the Bismarck.
Yeah, but defense is terrible for like the majority of the season.
Right, and you can say it's because well, part of that is the front office with Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker. Part of that was Mitchell Robinson was injured until what, All-Star break. Like the second half of the season is the real Mitch.
Also, was playing Nerlens Noel, who was looking at the time like Patrick Ewing on the Sonics.
Right. And Julius Randle quit on us for half the season.
Why is the coach not part of that? Like, why are you going to just keep saying all these players? Why is the coach not part of that? Why is he not? Why didn't he change the lineup so that way he didn't have Fournier and Kemba at the same time if they both can't play defense together? Why is he throwing out there Taj when Taj looks like a shell of himself? Why isn't he giving Sims a try when he actually looked good, especially when you're playing against big centers? Why is he not holding Rand? There's a lot of things. I don't want to like go off on all these different things he didn't do, but I just can't stand when people say, well, you know, these players are playing bad. These players doing this. Okay, and he's the coach. He can make changes.
Now you're right.
And like the fact that a lot of players are saying, like, a lot of people are like, you know, the front office has to get rid of these guys, so you have to play. What does that tell you that you're saying that the front office has to get rid of players because you're scared that the coach doesn't know the right players to play? What does that say about the coach?
Nah, you're right. I mean,
you're not a big Tibbs, so I'm not really arguing with you because you're not like there's some Tibbs apologists. You're not really a Tibbs apologist.
Yeah,
I'm just getting my frustration out because it's like today was a terrible day for the Knicks, and today's game means nothing. They play a G League team and Josh Hart. Okay, this team is as good as the team that McBride was dropping 40 on, okay?
Yeah, listen, man. I'm looking for the positive in these games. RJ dropped 30. McBride got some run. I still want to see McBride actually handle the ball more. I feel like that would make me a lot happier, honestly. And I want to see Obi play a little bit more minutes than 15 minutes for the game.
Friday, right?
Huh?
You know what's going to happen Friday, right?
What's going to happen? Grimes going to come back.
So
Grimes going to
probably get in DMT.
Exactly. And you heard me say that a little bit earlier. I don't know how I don't know when you tuned in, but I said the exact thing. Like, Grimes is coming back, and that might be a wrap for McBride. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I was very frustrated. I think they were smart in that, Leon Rose used to be an agent. He knows how to leak news. I think they leaked the news today because they knew they're playing the worst team in the NBA. And if you look at in terms of who's actually playing, this is the worst team in the NBA we played today because they're not playing a single player except for Josh Hart that's like an NBA player.
Facts.
So they knew, we got this team, and then we're going to play the Wizards. The Wizards are not that good, too. We leak the story out. Everyone gets mad, but then they'll be happy when we win because we're going to beat the Trailblazers.
Nah, you're right, man.
And then on Sunday, when we play the Jazz, and he runs Burks for the whole fourth quarter or whatever. He plays the starters the whole fourth quarter and does the same thing. Probably plays Taj a bit because he can't resist the urge to play Taj.
Yeah.
Then everyone's gonna come back on the fire. I mean, most people are already on the fire train, but
I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, what drives me, this will be my last thing I'll say. What drives me crazy is you have a lot of these people that are like, we want to have stability and continuity, stability. How stability? So what's going to happen when next year the team gets off to a bad start and they end up firing him in February? You think that's good for stability? Because once it goes bad next year, he's going to be gone.
He's going to have a half a season.
Yeah, it's bad. It's worse to fire him halfway through the season than to fire him in the offseason right now.
I'm not going to lie. I'm a little conflicted, man. Like, I get why everybody wants Tibbs fired because he has done a long run. Because you know me. I'm not. I want stability too, but I'm also watching this going, why hasn't he changed things up? And that's the conundrum here with me. So it's like, if there was like Tibbs is getting fired, I just be like, I wouldn't be upset. I'm not going to leave a lie. I wouldn't be like throwing my hands up.
A lot of people still want him to stay there. Like, yeah, no, he should stay. He just, he has to adjust some things next season. He doesn't adjust. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
He's not going to change.
Right.
So don't tell me he has to change some things next season because you're going to see the same thing next season.
I feel you.
What? You think Jalen Brunson's going to all of a sudden become Chris? He's not Chris Paul.
Yeah, Jalen Brunson being our savior is funny.
Exactly the difference.
He's not going to be that. He's not going to be our savior. Jalen Brunson is not the savior. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he's going to come in and change the whole team.
No,
they're going to do the same thing in the fourth quarter they do now.
We're gonna have to trade for a point guard or growing from within. That's really what it is. But salute to you, man. Thanks. I know you got some steam off. Somebody was like, bring Ken back so we can have a battle.
No, I don't want to do no more battle of the fans. I don't got the energy for that, man. I don't want to push you like crazy,
I feel you. Ken is kind of chill. I don't feel like Ken is like a battler anyway. He's kind of like laid back.
He's an optimist, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to be optimistic about, but I agree with both sides, and I've talked about both sides on this program, so I'm not even trying to play the fence. I really can see both sides of this. Salute to you, man. Thanks for calling. I'm gonna get the next caller in a second, man. But yeah, I'm kind of like, if Tibbs is fired, I would get it, man. I would get it. I would absolutely get it. If he's not fired, and he's not going to be fired, I'm holding out hope that that the front office kind of puts him in position to be better. And I understand what Jason says. Why would the front office? Because there's certain coaches who lean towards more towards veterans and kids, and I just feel like, I still feel like it can possibly work, but like you said, there has to be things that has to be done. If it's left to total Tibbs control with no input from anybody else, then I think we're gonna be in trouble. So I'm just at this point, I'm just hoping it all works out, man. I'm hoping it all works out. We trade Alec Burks, maybe move Fournier together, and we get some input from the front office and see where it goes. At the end of the day, though, I still feel like even with Tibbs here and even with that perfect scenario, we still need some offensive coordination help. I still feel like we kind of fall short on that. So ultimately, I still kind of feel like eventually we're gonna have to move on from Tibbs. Obviously, I feel like he's like a foundational guy, yo. Kind of like the Golden State Warriors situation. Honestly. But shout out to the callers, shout out to everybody in chat, shout out to Prezi the Balls, shout out to D Nice. Picks with team, everybody else is rocking the KOT show. Next caller up, we got Mike from Michigan.
What up, though? Jay Allen.
What's going on, Mike, man?
Yeah, the real Mike from Michigan, man. Just want to take that game with you. So I didn't get to see the game today. I got my Fire Stick that I can stream the MSC network on, but I ain't get a chance to watch it. I just saw the stats.
Oh, okay.
But I did get to listen in. As far as the Thibodeau debate. I did get to hear about Mitch, the situation with Mitch. I'm glad he's getting time. And I want to see our young guys play, man. I think I touched on this the last couple of times I called. I really want to see our young guys get a chance to play. I'm with you as far as Tibbs go. Man, I'm like, I figure we know where we at by the first month of the season, which is unfortunate.
Hold on one second, Mike.
Yeah.
Your volume is like, sometimes you're clear and sometimes it's like.
Okay. All right, let me adjust this Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Can you hear me a little bit better now?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. So I was saying, I'm with my man as far as the skepticism on Tibbs, but I think we're going to see where we're at. We're going to know where we're at pretty quickly, about a month into the season, which is unfortunate because, like my man said, at that point, we might have to fire this dude mid-season next year, but I think we're kind of stuck. By him, by him performing the way he did last year. He took that team that, what was my man, the tank commander.
Fizdale? Emmanuel Moutier and them?
Yeah. He took Fizz's team, man, and got Fizz's team with a bunch of, veterans that we just, basically got, coming on short contracts when we got my man Burks. We just grabbed Burks out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. We grabbed Noel out of nowhere last year. We kind of just threw them together. Guys that will come play, New York to throw the roster together, and he got them to the playoffs. So I got to respect him for that.
Right.
So, I think his leash, I think that got him through at least the end of this year.
Yeah, me too.
As far as the security go.
Me too.
But the roster that he got now, man, is light years ahead of where we was at with Fizdale. And so he got to recognize that, and he got to adjust accordingly. Now, as far as Tibbs being a long-term NBA coach, I give him his respect. He got a lot of wins, but he has not won anything as far as championship.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So there's still room for growth, and there's still room to adjust what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, it's okay to be, rigid in certain things, like the defense, things like that. That's cool. But that rotation, when you see you got talent on the bench like that, and you can run,
yeah.
At least 9-10 deep. You can do that and not have a drop-off as far as the talent, you know what I'm saying? And just you can match based on the team. If he does that next year coming out the gate, I think we good. If not, I'm going to be in panic mode. That's all I got, man. I'm going to let you know I'm going to be in panic mode. And before I go, I got to always say it. Hey, we got to move Randall in the offseason. Pay that man for services rendered. Get him up out of here. That's all I got.
All right, Mike. All right, man, Mike.
Appreciate you taking the call, man.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right.
Gunshots, man. Yeah. Yo, Coach got everybody nervous out here, bro. He ended with the Randall. Because it's funny because Randall, what's funny? I kind of do feel like with Tom Thibodeau definitely has his faults, and he definitely did a lot of BS. Right? Like, he definitely did a lot of BS. But I do feel like Mitchell Robinson being hurt definitely hurt our defense. But I also feel like him not playing Deuce McBride in certain situations, or just another point guard in general, to switch things up, also put us in certain situations. But I feel like if Mitch is back, having Mitch here from the beginning of the season is going to help us tremendously. It might help us get off to a better start next season, for sure, if most of our team is intact. So we'll see what happens. But also, man, this Julius Randle thing. Julius Randle, you saw me pull up a graphic earlier. Julius Randle, after sucking for half a season, has been balling. Now, granted, today, he didn't have like a great shooting day. But even today, Randle had 20 points, almost a triple-double on a bad shooting night. This man shot 5 of 18, 27% from the field, but had 7 assists, led the team in assists on the night, and 9 rebounds and 20 points. Just because he got to the line a lot, 10 to 12 from the free throw line. And it's funny because I feel like in the second half of the season, he's starting to change his game a little bit, and he's starting to manipulate. I feel like he's been watching CP and them. CP meaning Chris Paul. And he's been using that little swipe through move to get himself to the line a lot and getting some cheap foul. So here's my thing. If the Knicks are planning on keeping Tom Thibodeau, to me that also signals that Julius Randle is going to be here. Unless something happens with like maybe Donovan Mitchell is available or something like that. That's the only time I can maybe see something happen, and they're like, oh, we gotta move on that, and we gotta put Julius Randle in the trade. But Julius Randle, man, he's been playing well, man. It sucks that he hasn't been doing this the entire time, because he looks like a completely different player now, and averaging 27 points this month. Fritz says, can I be the caller in the queue? I'm not a Tibbs fan. All right, Tibbs got some smoke. I mean, Fritz has some smoke for Tibbs. Let's go, Fritz.
Hey, what's up? What's up, JL?
What's going on, Fritz?
On the debate of Tibbs, I'm on the side of him not coming back next year, and I think when Leon came in, he was talking big things, and he kind of put the dream team together. Mm-hmm. Now you're seeing Kenny Payne maybe out the door. You see Woodson out the door. Those were the guys that the players played for. And now I think you have to elevate Johnny Bryant at this point and let him have a fair shot with his own staff. Like, if you bring back Tibbs next year, at best half a season he's gonna last. Let him have his training camp. Let him put his staff together. Don't let him mid-season try to throw something together. Just let him have his time. Tibbs time is limited. Without those coaches, I don't see it. I don't.
You know what?
Who does he have left?
You know what though? I will say this. I know I was saying promote Johnny Bryant, and I would give that a chance if it's like mid-season. Like, say we get rid of Tibbs mid-season, next season, I will let Johnny Bryant go. Mm-hmm. But if we end up going to the end of the next season or something, and then we move him, I think if we call Woodson back, I feel like he would take it. I think he would take it.
I'm wondering why he even went.
Because he wants to be a head coach. Cause I feel like Woodson was kind of like because now my mind is going back to when everything was happening. I kind of feel like Woodson was like was supposed to be the safety net, just in case we had to blow it up. then you have a head coach in here who's had experience here, had experience with New York, and has the respect of the team and the players. I wouldn't be surprised. I think I don't even know why I even think about that until just now. I think I'll give Woodson a call, and I think he would take it.
That's interesting. I think this summer, I think the Knicks they're gonna do something. They're gonna do something big. They can't go another off season without a point guard, without something substantial. And
you can say that,
this has to be the summer.
You can say that, but you can only do what the market allows you to do, man. That's the thing. Like everybody's talking about Donovan Mitchell, whatever. But unless he's available, you can't do nothing. The Knicks planned on moving Alec Burks to the deadline, but they wanted a pick or something in return, and the market said, "No, we're not giving you a pick," which is why Alec Burks is still here. And Cam Reddish was in the position he was in, so it's like it doesn't matter what the plans are. Like, what does the market say the plans are? The market has to agree with it.
Yeah. The front office has been very risk averse. They've been like, dotting their I's, crossing their T's, but at the same time, there's been opportunities for Knicks to make a splash if they were willing to take a risk. And every time they've always passed. Like for the pick for LaMelo, Charlotte was trying to give up that pick. They really didn't want that pick. They were just asking for another one, another first.
Yeah.
Knicks wasn't giving it up.
Yeah.
But now you look back at it, it was open. It was available for them. At this point, you just can't sit on your hands and just wait for the perfect trade that everybody's it's just gonna be great. At this point, you may have to go and do one of those mellow type trades that you didn't want to do before.
Yeah, maybe, man. Like maybe it depends. It depends on who's available. Like this league is assets and timing, man. It's assets and timing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to keep building your assets.
Yeah.
It's almost like the stock market or the real estate market. It's like you load up on assets, right? You load up on assets and you wait. And now everybody's looking at the stock market right now, and they're like, "Should you cash our chips in?" Nah, I'm gonna just wait. And then when the market crashes, you just buy up everything. And I guess that's kind of what the Knicks are. Like we stack up. You got to stock up on young players and draft picks and wait for the market. And when the market crashes,
I think a lot of people are looking at this.
When the market crashes, could be like the market crashing would be like our version of a disgruntled player. Put your chips in the middle.
Yeah.
Cash out. Like that's that's what it is right now.
Yeah. I think this summer, I know a lot of people look at this Mitch situation. It's like, how did Mitch not offer $12 million a year for Mitch? Mitch is worth it. But the Knicks, once you get Mitch 4 years, you're kind of stuck with him. He's not so easy to move at that point. I don't think the Knicks want to be stuck with anyone. And I think if Mitch wants to go, I think the Knicks will help him. It's like, hey, you want to go to Detroit? We'll get you 20. I will get you 20 from Detroit. Sign and trade.
But Detroit, we don't want nobody from Detroit that Detroit is willing to give. That's like the thing.
No, you can get it. You can get an exception from Detroit. Like I think the Knicks will get an exception. They're like, hey, sign and trade for Mitch, and we'll get an $18 million exception to use whenever we want down the road.
Right.
But I don't think the Knicks just want the 4-year thing. I think that's probably the point that scares the Knicks.
I can see that, because even if you look at the Knicks' reputation or their pattern, they're giving options. So I feel like if we were to give Mitch 4 years, if that's what that fourth year is going to be team option. There's always an option with every contract that we. So if it's 3 years, it's going to be 2 years and the third option. If it's 4 years, it's going to be 3 years and a fourth option.
Yeah.
That's been the pattern from this Knicks front office. So I kind of agree with you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to the summer. I'm one of those people thinking that Tibbs is gonna gracefully bow out. I know he wants to fight. I know he wants to fight, but I just don't see him lasting half.
Yeah, man. He got that color purple fighting him. He not trying to go down. I'm like, yo, go down, Tiz. Like, you don't have to fight all your life. It's like, you don't got to do it. Let the young kids play, man.
Yeah, basically.
But, like, I get it, though.
Yeah, that's all one does have.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man. Shout out to to the chat. I don't know. Just weigh in the chat is which way you want to go.
Yeah, man. What's once again, impromptu poll. 1, if you want to keep Tibbs, type a 1. If you want to get rid of Tibbs, type 2. Let us know what you think in the chats. I want to see some 1s and 2s up in the chat. Yeah, man. All my life I had to fight. I'm not even gonna lie though. It's like for me, if you're a competitor, if you're a coach, or if you're a player and you want to quit, I don't want you on my team anyway, so I don't even blame the coaches or the players. I feel like the front office has to wave the white flag because they have the more long-term outlook on the team. The coach and the players are a little bit too close to things. You know what I mean? You got a 2. You got a 1. You got a 2. You got a 2. Is he fighting, though, with McBride on the bench? Nah, my boy is ignorant, too. Picks for Timmy is not having it. 2. After Fizdale, NY was reluctant to take a rookie coach. Facts, man. That's why I feel like that's why I feel like we even hired Woodson, man. Woodson was supposed to be the failsafe, but now he's gone. Kenny Payne looked like he's about to be poached as well, and he might be going to Louisville. So that's gonna suck because that was our big man guy, man. That's gonna hurt to lose Kenny. That's really gonna hurt. Deuce Mob in the building. Nick him up with 0.5. All right. I feel like the 2 kind of have it. Will Samarin says you have to let a coach cook. How many different coaches have we had? Yeah, man, we have a carousel of coaches over here. It's kind of been like one after another, which is why I'm so torn. And you guys see me on the show when everybody was saying fire Tibbs. I was holding on, man. I was holding on because I was just like, I do not want to go through that carousel of coaches again. For sure. But yeah, man. All I'll say is good news is to wrap up the show. I'm still happy we got RJ Barrett here. He's giving you 30 points a game. He's creeping up on averaging 20 a game. I mean, he's averaging 24 points a game right now at this instant. But RJ Barrett, the way he's playing now, is looking like he's about to average 20 points a game. Right now, he's at 19.3. So he can very conceivably end up averaging 20 points a game at the end of the season. So shout out to RJ Barrett. Next caller up, we got Tell him on the phone. All right, let's go. Tell him. Let us know what you're talking about, sir.
Testing. Yes. Hey, how you doing tonight, Jay Ellis? How you doing tonight, KOT Show? Now, boom. The reason why I called is to hype up next game, but I just want to address the news that the coach is expected to return. I think that this is a bad look. I like continuity. I think that could be sexy for long-term building.
Right.
But I think we all can see the cancer. We see it. It's clear. It's obvious. And it's sad. I'm not going to lie. It's sad because Coach Tibbs is getting himself fired. The adjustments that he needs to make, if they're done, he can save his job. Yeah. But let's be real. Jay Ellis, is Coach Tibbs going to do the necessary adjustments that he has needed to do for almost 2 seasons to keep his job for a third full season? No. Yes or no?
No, I mean, we've been complaining about adjustments since last season. Right. Yo, we started Elfrid Payton till the All-Star break, came out of the All-Star break and continued to start him. Finally, at the end of the regular season, started to bench him a little bit. And guess who started game 1 of the playoffs?
The same clown that we knew wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
He turned us against Elf, and Elf isn't even that bad of a player. But we just knew that he couldn't be the starting guard for us.
Yeah.
But the coach didn't know that. The coach didn't know that. It took the coach till the third quarter of game 1 in the playoffs to finally start starting Derrick Rose.
Yep.
It's too late. It's too late. So I'm sorry. The guy got himself fired. I just want to make that abundantly clear. There will be 0 player development if we keep him. Cam Reddish will be a bum. Obi Toppin will be a bum. Deuce will not get loose. We don't want any of those things. We don't have enough talent to waste those guys. They need to develop.
Yeah.
And if not develop, at least be given the minutes, the minutos to try and develop.
Yeah.
And he's not going to give them that. He's still lying to the freaking media. He's still finessing. Because, they ask him. They always press him. Berman be up in that. You know what I'm saying? Berman be getting them. Yo, what's up with the minutes for the babies? What's up with the minutes difference with the veterans and the babies?
Fact.
You know him, Coach Tibbs. Here we go. Minutes are earned here. Minutes are earned. Minutes are not earned on the New York Knicks. Minutes are not earned here. Minutes are distributed based off of seniority. For 2 years now, minutes have been given based off of seniority. It's not based off of who can help the team or not. Minutes are not earned. I don't know why he keeps lying to the media, and I don't know why the media keeps falling for it. I want to see a follow-up question of, no, minutes are not earned, Coach Tiz, and then he'll probably cut them off the screen. But somebody needs to challenge him and tell him, minutes are not earned here. Why are you lying to us? Minutes are given based off of years of service. So now let's get to the nitty-gritty. Why really cool? Because I look at the schedule, JL.
Oh, yeah,
and
we
I'm
see
excited.
it. We
Because
see it.
Next game.
Yeah.
You see
You
it.
see
Let's
it.
freaking go.
We see it.
Let's freaking go.
We see it. We see it.
Washington Wizards in the Garden. Next game, we're going against the Snake.
Let's go.
Chris Porzingis, baby. Yeah! Let's freaking go.
Let's go.
I can't wait till he's in the Garden. I can't wait to boo before jump ball, because they're going to say his name. And number 6, 7'3", Kristaps Porzingis. They're going to say it quickly. They try not to say it long. We're going to be booing hard, boo. I'm going to be booing so hard, just like the first time he pulled up. That was the same day that actually Melo came back into the league and Portland signed him. I'll never forget that day. We got to win. We got to win that day.
Definitely
so,
do.
boy, I'm going to be booing. I'm going to be excited to watch KP. I know he's going to play poorly. There's no Bradley Beal. There's no Luka to save him this time around. And just in general, the Wizards are underperforming. So I think that's a second dub for us. And, I'm ready to smoke on that Kristaps Porzingis pack, baby.
Facts.
Straight up.
Facts.
You know what it is. Yo, Jay Ellis, keep cooking, and let me know your thoughts, man. Holla back.
Man, that's a 5. Is that a 5? I think that was a 5. Yeah. So here's the thing. I'm clipping that call. Hey Fritz, if you clip this fall call first, please do, because I'm gonna clip this call. Make sure you get the Berman Tom Thibodeau imitation in there. I'm posting it on Twitter and I'm tagging Berman. All right. I'm posting it on Twitter and I'm tagging Berman. All right. And tell him, Alejandro, you're absolutely right. I am worried about his adjustments, which is why I kind of even led with, like, the only reason I might be okay with it is if the front office takes away his crutches. His crutches being Alec Burks and other guys. But even with them taking away his crutches, there's still going to be less runway for Obi Toppin to get some burn. Like, no matter how we slice it. So, like I said, I can see both sides of this fence, man. And it's like, if Tibbs was gone, I wouldn't be like pissed. I'd just be like, well, I get it. Like, I would be like, I wouldn't be like, he doesn't. I'm like, because we need a guy who's gonna actually, play more of the youth. And you can play the other side of the fence and say, well, he developed RJ, he developed Mitch. Grimes is a good player, because that's what Tibbs points to. He's like, well, these guys are young, and they're doing well, and Sims is doing. So he's gonna point to that. But we really have to really push to see what we have in Cam Reddish and Obi Toppin in particular, and take advantage of more moments when those guys are playing well to leave those guys in the game longer than 10 minutes at times. Like, there shouldn't be a cap. They shouldn't be 10 minutes no matter what. Like, if Randall is playing bad, have Obi in the game if he's cooking. That's all I have to say about that. But I get it, man. I get it. Yeah, we definitely got to clip that call and me putting that on Twitter because that joint was hilarious. Putting it on Twitter and I'm putting it on. Yeah, that was amazing. That was. Salute. First of all, salute to everybody's welcome to the KOT show. We have fun breakdowns, and if you don't want to stay for me, stay for the chat and the people who rock with me, man, because they be hilarious. So shout out to Telem Alejandro, shout out to Picks with Timmy, shout out to Nick Yak, shout out to Fritz, the best mod in town, Jason M, Prez the Boss, Starlight Roller, Winston Aracena. Welcome back, Wilson. I feel like I haven't seen Wilson in a minute. Sang Freud. Germ Warfare. Peace, my Knicks family. Peace to you, Germ Warfare. I don't think I've seen you before, but welcome. Welcome to Knick of Time Show. And if you like the show, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And, oh, yeah, I forgot to comment on the last thing. The basketball gods have granted us one more wish before the season was over. Because Kristaps the Snake Porzingis was dodging the smoke. When he was dodging the smoke all year playing with Dallas. Oh, I'm injured. I can't play. But now he's back. Now he's with the Wizards. And we get to boo him once again. Because we've been saving all this boo energy up in the chest. And it's time to release all that boo energy out. I'm going to sleep booing. I'm going to sleep tonight practicing my boo octaves. Just so when I see KP, I can boo at the TV with the appropriate passion. All right. Man, Wilson says I watch it on replay. Salute to you, Wilson. It's been a minute since I've seen you in the actual chat, but if you're watching on replay, watching the chat, I appreciate you either way, man. All right. Either way, I appreciate you. But yo, that is our show. Next game will be Friday. Hopefully we'll have hopefully Ryan G will be here. Ryan G was sick at the last minute. He was supposed to be here, but he got sick. So shout out to my guy Ryan G. Get well soon, sir. Hopefully we'll see you on Friday. And let's see what else. I'm hoping to have Raw back too. Last Sunday I was supposed to have Sunday was Raw's daughter's birthday. I was trying to stream on Sunday, but I couldn't because of technical difficulties. But maybe we'll have Raw back for the Sunday game versus the Jazz. So we will see about that. And I think it's time to have a primer show for. I know March Madness is coming. I'm gonna try to get my guy, my guy up here to talk about the prospects, because I know he's been watching prospects since early. He's been watching prospects since September. Wilson says, great show, love the energy, appreciate you, Wilson. Peace to everybody in the chat. All right, and don't forget to comment after the show. It helps all the algorithms. Algorithm helps KOT get to the top. All right, so that is our show, and as always,
shout out the Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
It's a mess out here in Knicks Nation, and for Tom Thibodeau and company. All right, that is our show. We are out of here. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Knicks Nation. Peace.